to my channel. My name is Hannah. I'm sorry I've been gone for so long. I had a baby. I've been gone for a month. She's almost a month and a half old, so that's nice. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about my birth story, how it all happened, what happened, how it was, how I am, and how she's doing. As most of you might know, but some of you might not if you're new, I had a C-section with my daughter, Arabella. She's a girl. Very cute. I had a C-section because she was footling breech and she was measuring 29 weeks when I was 37 weeks pregnant with her, so she had to come out ASAP. Footling breech means she was breech, but instead of being bum down, she was feet down, and they were worried about her breaking my water if she was to kick too hard, so they got her out at 37 weeks and 3 days. On July 30th, 2019, at 8:40 in the morning, she was born. So it started I had to go to the hospital at 5 in the morning because you have to be there for like 3 hours or something, or they have to do a bunch of assessments and like all this stuff and get your blood work done before you actually like go in for surgery. So I went in there at 5 in the morning. My surgery was at 8. I went in, they checked me in, I got put in the recovery room, got into my gown, and they hooked me up to an IV. Somebody came in and took my blood. They did my blood pressure, and one of the nurses just asked me a bunch of medical questions about my family history, my medical history, all this stuff just to be, they have to do that. That's just routine for anybody that gets surgery done. Before I knew it, it was 8 o'clock, and they were talking to me about how the surgery was gonna go, what happens, and all this stuff, who's doing it, about the anesthesiologist and all this stuff, if I feel anything to like say something, like they kind of just went over everything with me. I ended up walking to the OR room, which is just down the hall from the recovery room. They have their own OR in my hospital for C-sections and stuff, so that was cool. On the walk there, she gave me this drink, no, not really a drink, but like a little thing about this big that had like a liquid in it. It tasted really gross. It kind of tasted like orange juice, and then it tasted really salty. It wasn't very pleasant. It was kind of grossed me out. It made me feel a little bit sick. When I got to the OR room, I got sat on the table. He told me to open up my gown so he could get at my back. A nurse was talking to me about, just asking me questions about my pregnancy, about her, how I'm feeling, am I excited, and I was very excited. As he was prepping my back to get the spinal tap done, the nurse was putting leg compressors on me, which is like, it's like an arm band that goes around your leg, like, you know, the blood pressure machine. It's like that, but it goes around both your legs, and it squeezes every few seconds. It squeezes to keep the blood flowing throughout your legs so you don't get blood clots. They put that on me. He numbed me, and I thought that was the epidural. It wasn't. I thought that was it, and I was like, oh wow, that was easy. And he's like, no, that was just a numbing needle. And I'm like, oh, that's nice. And when he put the epidural in, it felt like he did it above where he numbed, which was weird. Like, it felt like he numbed here and then like put the needle in here. It kind of hurt. It felt like a really big pinch and pressure when you first put it in, but after that it felt okay. It wasn't that bad. My butt and legs went really warm, and then they started to go tingly and numb. They laid me down on the table. They put heart monitors on me, and my midwife put in a catheter. And then they put up the blue drape, and I was just relaxing. They put a warming blanket on me, which was really nice. It was really warm, and I liked the warming blanket. He tested me to see if I could feel anything. He said, can you feel that? I said, well, if you're touching me, I can't feel anything. I don't know if you're touching me, so I can't feel anything. Then he said, okay. And my mom came in to the room with me, and they started. I don't remember much from, well, I remember my surgery, but I don't remember a whole lot because I was really out of it. The spinal tap made me like feel really tired. Like I couldn't really keep my eyes open. I was kind of just had my eyes closed the whole time. It was kind of just talking a little bit with my mom. Before I knew it, they brought her. They had her out. My mom stood up, looked over the curtain at her. They came around to me so I could look at her. And the only thing that I could say was, she's crying. She's crying. For some reason, the only thing I was scared of with the C-section was that she wasn't going to be crying when she came out because, it's usually people have emergency C-sections and sometimes that doesn't happen. So that was what I was worried about. So my first thing when I said when she was born was, she's crying. Oh my God, she's crying. My mom went into a different room with her. They cleaned her up. My mom cut the cord, and then they brought her back and they put her on my chest. And then they did everything. They sewed me back up, and she was on my chest for the entire time throughout my surgery and as they wheeled me back to my recovery room. This is where my memory gets really spotty. I remember my surgery and going back to the recovery room. I remember trying to breastfeed her. She's formula fed, but I tried breastfeeding a couple times in the hospital. When they first tried, it was really like overwhelming for me because like I was super out of it, and like the nurse wasn't really saying anything to me. She's kind of just like, okay, hold your boob like a sandwich and just hold it. And I said, okay. So I did that, and like the nurse was kind of doing everything, moving her head, trying to latch her on. She wasn't really latching. And yeah, it was really overwhelming. So I just said, you know what, give her a bottle. I'll try later when I feel better. I ended up going on my phone. I told everybody she's here. Her dad was in the recovery room. He held her too. And this is where I don't remember anything because I don't remember being wheeled back to my postpartum room. And while I was in my postpartum room, I apparently filled out her letterboard that I had with her weight and how many inches, her weight and what time she was born. I didn't know how many inches she was. I didn't find out until like a day after when they brought in her little bassinet thing, and it had the little thingy that says like her name, her birth date, and all that stuff. She was born 5 pounds 13 ounces, and she was 19 inches long. She was pretty tiny. Yeah, I don't remember doing any of that, filling out that board. I don't remember getting wheeled back to my postpartum room. It's really spotty. I was really out of it. The epidural and then something else that they gave me made me feel really woozy, and I'll get into that. I had a lot of visitors come. Her dad was there, her grandparents, my parents, his parents. I had a bunch of friends come and family to come see us the first day that we were in the hospital, and that was kind of just it for that day. Not much else happened. I tried breastfeeding another time, and it didn't work out very well. I was still feeling really overwhelmed, and the nurse was doing everything. I wasn't doing anything, so it was just easier for me to formula feed, and at a point, I regretted not breastfeeding her, but my midwife had told me that they were actually really pleased that I ended up formula feeding because she was so tiny that there was a big chance that she was going to lose a lot of weight, and all this stuff could have happened if I was breastfeeding because there's a chance she wouldn't get as much as she needed. So I feel a little bit better about formula feeding now. Fed is best. I'm not saying formula or breast is better, but I just felt bad that I didn't breastfeed, but I'm getting over that. I think it's just postpartum. And if you hear little grunts, she's behind the camera in the swing because I can't hold her because I get distracted. So, she's behind the camera, she's in her swing, so if you hear little grunts, that's what it is. During that night, because I had a C-section, I couldn't really pick her up out of her swing or do anything with her because I was in a lot of pain, so my mom was kind of more so picking her up out of the bassinet and bringing her to me and feeding her. I was doing some of it too, but it was really hard for me because I was in a lot of pain. So when night came, I wasn't able to really do anything, and she was really fussy the first night that we had her. She had like gas pain or something was going on with her that made her like really fussy. And my mom ended up just staying up with her till about 3 in the morning, and then she woke me up because she had to give her to me because she felt really sick. And my mom ended up being sick for that whole night. We don't know why, but she just was. She was really up to the bathroom a bunch of times. So we ended up giving her to the nurses for that first night. And she spit up a lot in the hospital while we were there. We went through so much clothes. Like, everybody tells you to bring like 2 diaper shirts, like 3 sleepers. Like, you don't need to bring a whole lot, but you do. I went through everything. The first night, I went through like everything that I had in my bag, and I had a lot of stuff in my bag for her because we weren't sure how big she was going to be. So I had a bunch of preemie stuff and a bunch of newborn stuff, and we went through it all in the first day. And then when she came back to me the next morning, she was in a different sleeper that I'd never seen before. The nurses put her in, so that means she spit up on the clothes that we had her in that night. For the second day, not much happened. A couple people came to see me that day. A couple of my friends came. They did a 24-hour weight test with her, which is where they weigh her after 24 hours to see how much she lost. She only lost 1 ounce. She was 5'13" when she was born, and when they weighed her, she was 5'12", which is really good. She was in the 95th percentile. So that was good. Not much else really happened that day. It was kind of just a low-key day. We just fed her, she slept, she pooped. Oh, one thing that did happen that day is I was changing her on my bed, and I had a pillow on my lap because like I can't change her on my lap because it would hurt. Luckily my mom put a receiving blanket down over the pillow because I was changing her, and she farted, and I was like, oh no, get the diaper. I didn't get the diaper down in time, and she pooped all over the pillow. So that was eventful. And then we got her in her PJs, and then like 5 minutes later, she spit up all over it, so I had to totally undress her again. She was not happy with me. But that's kind of everything that happened that day. Her dad came to visit me a whole lot in the hospital, which was really nice. I got my catheter out that next night, and I had to start walking around, which was really painful, but I was able to do it. I was in Depends. Don't judge me. It's hard to wear like actual underwear when you have a C-section, so I was in Depends, and yeah, I was granny panning it up. We gave her a bath on the second night that we were there. She didn't like it, but she had a bath. It was her very first bath, and the nurse showed us how to do it and all that stuff. It was really fun, but yeah. On the third night, which was my last night there, not the last day, but my last night there, I got my nurse to take off my pressure dressing, which was really painful, but it applies pressure to the wound, which made it really hard to walk around and do anything. The pressure dressing hurt a lot more than my actual C-section did when I didn't have it on, and she took it off. It was very, very painful. I was in a whole lot of pain after she took it off, and I didn't know this, but she was going to take off my actual like dressing, which, oh my god, I'm traumatized from them taking off my dressing. It hurt so bad. Like, I couldn't even move after she pulled it off. Oh my god, like, I'm traumatized. I sat there with my pants down to my knees and just in my Depends, just like, oh my god, like, ow. So that was eventful. On my last day, we got discharged after 4 days on August 1st? August 1st or 2nd, I got discharged from the hospital at 11 in the morning. My midwife came to see me. She checked my incision and we were all good to go. We got everything ready and we headed home. She did amazing in the car, which I'm really surprised about, but she's a really good baby and she did amazing in the car, which I was really happy about. But yeah, that's pretty much my birth story and how everything went in the hospital. She is now a month and a half. She weighs 8 pounds, 2 ounces. She was weighed last Monday. She's getting big. She's my chunky baby. She's just now out of preemie stuff and is in newborn, and she's just like sort of fitting into it now, which is nice, but yeah, she's so tiny still. She's so cute. I'm doing really well. My incision looks really good and I'm not in pain anymore. I haven't been in pain for about a week or two. I haven't really been in pain. I've pretty much stopped bleeding by now, but it's just kind of spotting right now. She's good. She's growing. She's happy. She's a really good baby. And yeah. I guess I should show you her because she's just so cute. I will be right back. Here she is. My tiny baby. She's got a full head of hair. She is so stinking cute. Look at, whoop, that's a burp. Are you gonna spit up? No? She takes the pacifier, which is, don't judge me for her taking a pacifier. But this is baby Arabella. That's a spit up, that's spit up. Thank you guys so much for watching. She just spit up a whole lot. I have to go change her, but thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this video, please like, comment, and subscribe to my channel.